In this corner, we have everybody's favorite Great Dane. He's brown, he's got black spots, and he's solving mysteries left and right. Scooby, how do you feel about this fight tonight?
A Scooby-Doo!
And in the opposite corner, we have the other top competition of the night. He's your favorite golden retriever, fluffy little boy, climbing up and breaking all those sports records against little kids. Air Bud, how do you feel tonight?
Woof, woof. Baseball.
Hello, everybody. I'm Christian.
And I'm Ozzy.
And welcome back to That's the Flavor, episode number 40. What?
Like Christian.
Yes.
Never mind.
Okay, I was gonna say, you gotta remember we're an audio podcast, you know, that's all I was gonna say. Like, I realized there's a moment at last week's episode where, like, I asked you a question, there was like a moment of silence, and I went, oh wait, this doesn't work on audio. This doesn't work on the audio. But welcome back. Yeah. But welcome back to That's the Flavor, your weekly podcast where we sit down with each other, talk about our life, hang out, and have a good time. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. We ask ourselves some of the world's goofiest questions, like Chick-fil-A versus alligators, Shaquille O'Neal-sized Wonder Bread versus ducklings. What is the meaning of life? Why are we here?
How do you survive in this economy?
How do you survive in this economy? Like, seriously.
Are we actually just products of aliens that just reboot us and
there's some fun stuff on that topic, by the way, from this week. But we'll get to that here shortly. But thank you guys for supporting That's the Flavor. Thank you guys for your support specifically on episode number 39. We would not be doing this without any of you guys. Your comments, your listens, your watching, all of it is super appreciated. And I've even been seeing some watches and some views and comments on older episodes as well. So thank you guys for that. If you guys want to know and see more That's the Flavor stuff, you can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on any podcast platform. You can also check us out on any social media platform. It's That's the Flavor pretty much anywhere. We're pretty much focused on Instagram and YouTube as well as our podcast services at the moment, but we're still pretty much anywhere. And yeah, without further ado, Ozzy, how you doing this week? How are you? On episode 40, 15 episodes in a row since the revival of the podcast. How are you feeling?
So, you pose a very good question there, Christian.
Yes. Mm-hmm. A wonderful question, some might say.
Who decided that judging your value is to be determined by numbers?
I think we did, personally.
Grand scheme of things, what do numbers really mean? Anything? Who created them? Because, at the end of the day, yeah, we use that to better understand the world, right? But who decided that is the correct way to measure? Because, it could be completely wrong.
So,
maybe
there are a couple of answers to your questions that were posed. Who created numbers? I believe it's like Archimedes or something, right? Like, someone did create numbers. I'm pretty sure we have record of that. Yeah. And numbers' main purpose are like a sequential numbering system to kind of keep things in order.
Yeah, I know that, but then this gives me the question of, like, who decided that 1 comes after 2? Why couldn't it be 2 then 1?
Probably the person who invented numbers.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is then what if the person who invented numbers is wrong?
But isn't right and wrong objectively, like, opinion? So, like, what one person might think.
So then are we saying that science is just objective?
It is, arguably. Like, okay, that's not true. Because some things are proven.
So, yeah, but how do you prove something that's based off of an opinion if numbers are an opinion?
I mean, that's why you have, like, peer review and stuff. Or, like, you mainly, like, work in, like, pairs. They
didn't do that back in the day.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, now.
Yeah, but I mean...
Look, I understand the concept.
This has been established how long ago?
I understand.
This goes back to the simple question of, like, what came first. Like, who decided that a dog is a dog and not a cat?
Look, you could argue our entire modern society is based off the world's rockiest foundation, that if we peel the layers back just a little bit, all crumbles, so we just say that it's all fact. Right?
I guess that's fair, yeah.
Like, if we start to peel back the layers, because you're not wrong, if we start to peel back the layers of society, then everything one by one begins to fall and crumble down until society means nothing.
And
That's
that's
why
how the
this
Hunger
summer,
Games happens.
that's why this summer Ozzy and I are going to the Amazon rainforest to uncover the ancient Kraken boa and find its answers whenever it places its tentacles on our spines. Then and only then, then and only then will we discover the truth. Kraken Hunt, coming this summer to That's the Flavor.
I'm not gonna lie, my spine felt all tingly.
Yeah.
And
that personally happens when I put Pop Rocks on mine.
And I was gonna say, Taste Buds, if you want this to happen, you can start by giving us money to tickets to the Amazon rainforest. Because your boy is broke.
If you guys want to see that crazy thing happen, give us money.
I hate asking for it, but I'm sorry, I don't have that kind of funds. I'm broke.
That's like, have you seen on TikTok? There's that like Florida man guy who just goes around and snatches animals like barefooted in the Everglades. But he recently has moved on to like doing TikToks in the Amazon.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. But he literally just like bare hand grabs snakes and boas and whatever, like walks right up behind gators like in the Everglades.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess good for him. Maybe. Right. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But speaking on last week's episode and like episodes before, we were talking about the whole aliens robots things. Well, we finally posted and like talked about it on a YouTube short that kind of blew up and got a little bit of traction. And what I love is we've then beginning a bunch of like religious responses from people that I thought were bots, but like I kid you not, one of them is like a 3-paragraph response of like breaking down like how robots aren't real, but like the wrath of God is, and like the reason all of this was done is like it goes on and on and on and on. And it's like not only did he reply to like the short itself, but he started going in and replying to other conversations I had of other people. Very interesting. And it was like multiple users as well, so that was pretty fun. I was like, I don't know how to respond to this stuff because it was just so much. So that was kind of interesting on this past week.
Yep.
Because I sat there as the creator and I was like, hey, like this is like a purely haha jokey hypothetical question. Like it's not meant to offend anybody, so forth. Like, and even now talking about it this way, like it's still not meant to offend anybody. I just thought it was really interesting because it was like, hey, here's 3 paragraphs of like reasoning why. And I was like, this is very densely packed. And for a YouTube comment discussion, I don't feel like it's right to like debate or respond to this like kind of scenario. But
yeah, that's a little much.
So that's what happened on that's how I spent my Saturday was watching those comments pop up, and I was like,
I was gonna say besides that, oh no,
what was that?
Ow.
What was that?
It's a secret.
Is it your microphone? No, it couldn't have been your microphone.
Besides that day, how have you been, good sir?
Pretty good, honestly. I've been really enjoying That's the Flavor stuff. Again, just really excited for the future of That's the Flavor. Again, without saying too much, because again, we want to keep things as under wraps as we can. But I mean, as you know, we got some really cool stuff.
Yeah, like
planned.
the travel blog. The travel blog's coming.
Travel blog. Yep, I'm really excited for the travel blog. I think it's going to be a really nice addition to the content.
I agree. Christian and I got some really great footage.
Yes, really great footage of the travel blog, and as well as other That's the Flavor projects. Very excited for some stuff, and sometimes we're going to. I cannot talk tonight. I can't.
It's okay. I can't talk any day. I cannot
promote tonight. Wow, I can't believe this. But there's a lot of cool stuff in the works. Some stuff very, very soon.
True.
And some stuff soon. And some stuff down the road.
Not so soon.
Yeah. Coming to a theater near you.
In May.
And
no
August.
date. Just May.
Great. Now let's go look back at the calendar. We got to plan something in May of some year.
I mean, but that's just the thing. It's some year. We got time.
Yeah. Well, Ozzy, episode 40, big monumental episode. And I
Oh,
think
yes.
it's finally time that we
Oh,
talk about
yes.
a topic we have been wanting to talk about for, I think, the past, like, 6 episodes.
I was going to say this is actually a topic that was brought up whenever we first brought back
The podcast. So it's kind of sad that, but I know we've talked about specifically talking about it for, like, the past few episodes, and then the past few episodes have been what they've been, which is not a bad way to... What?
It's just different.
Yes.
So they've been great. Just
yes, no, they've been
not
great
what we
episodes.
were shooting for.
Correct.
Yeah, but this question debate is this something came out of my head one day randomly when I was working at Starbucks, and it's something I feel very strongly towards. So you know, of course, I have to bring it here and to discuss.
Right.
So
please, sir, take it away. Introduce the taste buds to this question, and also this one is all yours. Set the parameters. Set the groundwork here.
Oh, trust me, this has been going in my head rent free.
Okay.
For when did I start at Starbucks? Because this was like the second month I started.
Right.
So yeah, this has been about a year now.
Also, really quickly before we move on, I just want to point out if you're watching the video version of the podcast and I'm like significantly shorter than normal, it's because my chair broke and I'm in a backup chair. So I just, because I looked at my video footage again and was like, I'm shorter, and we didn't say anything, and it looks a little goofy on the footage. So
come on, Christian, just give me this one time that I can be taller than you.
Yes, guys, I shrunk. I actually lost a couple vertebrae.
See, in this dynamic, Christian's the tall friend and I'm the short friend. But now, this is my one chance in which I get to be slightly taller.
Here. There you go.
Wow, I'm not even slightly taller. I'm just super tall. All right, but in all honesty, the question that has been living in my head rent-free, and I hope will now translate to all of your mind's taste buds. We have another who would win in a fight situation. But the articles, or the fighters, I should say, not articles. I don't know why I said that. But the fighters of this are people that are things that people know and love and cherish. So, Christian, I pose you this question.
Yes.
Who would win in a fight? Scooby-Doo or Air Bud? And that the parameters are typical for what we use in terms of, I'd say, our ground rules.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Lay those down again for any new listeners right now. Just so.
I was gonna say, this is kind of more going off of the Shaquille O'Neal sized Wonder Bread versus Ducklings.
Okay. We're going back to that original episode. Episode number 6, by the way, in case anyone's curious.
So it's very, very similar in that it is like kind of like an arena. So we got like a boxing match.
Boxing situation.
It's like but it's not boxing. It's just like that kind of ring, you know.
Okay.
And it's whoever is like wins. And this one we're not gonna go as gruesome. Like we're not gonna go who would kill. We're just gonna say like who would win like a knockout.
Okay.
Since these both are fictional dogs.
Yes.
The rules apply of that they can do all of their shenanigans. So Air Bud can just randomly whip out all of the sports equipment, and Scooby-Doo, you know, is Scooby-Doo and can run but not really run. But let it be known that they are kind of in this confined area.
So is that the parameters?
Yes, those are the parameters.
So, taste buds, let's officially set the stage here before we begin this debate, because I already have thoughts. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, taste buds of all ages, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's pay-per-view event. Or the afternoon's pay-per-view event, depending on when you're listening to this episode. Who knows? It could be the morning. But welcome.
Any time event.
Anytime event. Welcome to the That's the Flavor pay-per-view fight night event of Scooby-Doo versus Air Bud.
Rough.
In this corner, we have everybody's favorite Great Dane. He's brown, he's got black spots, and he's solving mysteries left and right. Scooby, how do you feel about this fight tonight?
a Scooby-Doo.
And in the opposite corner, we have the other top competition of the night. He's your favorite golden retriever, fluffy little boy, climbing up and breaking all those sports records against little kids. Airbud, how do you feel tonight?
Woof, woof. Baseball.
And now, begin. Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to this Fight Night event. I am your commentator, or one of your commentators, Christian, along here with my co-commentator, Ozzy. Ozzy, how do you feel going into this fight tonight?
You know, it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
You know, both of these dogs, they not only do they come from different breeds, but they come from different home lives, and they come from different backgrounds. You know, and you know, I'm really interested to see what they bring to the table. You know, I think they both are very unique in both their own ways, and you know, I could really see this going in either way. So I think that's why it makes it such a good fight. Yeah, how about you, Christian? Where were your thoughts? How are we feeling?
You know, honestly, I think definitely coming into this, Airbud, I think is kind of the favored competitor here. You know, I think his physical prowess, his expertise in all these different sports areas, I think is really going to transfer into this situation that go ahead of us here. Scooby-Doo, I really think is the underdog here. Yes, he has a higher popularity, I would say, but I don't know what kind of abilities he's going to bring to this fight. That's really what I think is going to stop here. And I think there's some creativity that can go on here. But honestly, looking at the stats comparison here, Bud's really got it against Scooby here, so we're gonna have to see what's going in to this fight. And to start it off, I think Airbud would win this. I'm gonna go out and say it, far and away.
All right. So you're very strong.
I am Team Airbud all the way.
Okay. And do explain.
Okay. So again, I think just alone the physical prowess of this golden retriever, like. And again, you mentioned they carry in all their like expertise from like whatever fictional area they're from. So that means my man Airbud is equipped with like 6 different sports skills and subsets. Like the jumping, the passing, the catching. If we're talking this fight where again they're not killing anybody. Let's be clear here. But like in a tap out knockout situation, it's Airbud all the way. No, he doesn't have the reach of Scooby. Yes, Scooby's a Great Dane, but with the physical prowess of this golden retriever, I think he's far and away gonna have it against Scooby here.
Interesting. So, to keep it interesting, I am going to say my thoughts of what I have thought and come to my own conclusion until the end of this episode.
Excuse me?
Having been the person who has created this question, I feel like I've had a lot of time to put it, but I am going to play devil's advocate to your sake, so because like I said, I've brought this up a couple of times.
Interesting.
So
okay.
So I have some background interested, and so you're definitely
me, Ozzy, PhD in Scooby versus Airbudology. We brought in an expert for tonight's fight.
Actually, special guest. He's coming right here. Just give me a second, folks. For all of you audio listeners, Ozzy is going off the camera. Okay.
Well, we're going to go ahead and waiting for Ozzy to come back here.
All right, party people, I'm back already. And just so for you audio listeners, you know, the only thing that I did is that I flipped my hat backwards, and that's how you know that I am back into my goal. But so after having lots of conversation and actually done a lot of research on this topic, you know, because I'm very passionate about these pooches and about these dogs, you know. Right. So I think the obvious is a lot of people do give Scooby-Doo the benefactor, as he is a Great Dane. And if we're going in terms of like the scientific of the breeds, just in general, golden retrievers are more of not an aggressive type. A Great Dane is more likely to attack, just because of the nature of that breed. So that has been brought up. Also, if you do look at the size, a Great Dane is much larger than a golden retriever, which I mean, to some extent, it depends on how you look at it. You know, Air Bud's definitely got that aerodynamicsy, especially since he is so athletic. And, since he is smaller, I feel like he could definitely like kind of run in between and out of Scooby. But you also sometimes speed isn't everything when you got just sheer power and presence. So that's been a big point for Scooby-Doo, is that he's a Great Dane. Two, a lot of people have liked to bring in, so I don't know, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, they're a children's cartoon, but they are often affiliated with the use of some substances of the green variety. So some people do like to say that just because of that ideal, they like to think that Scooby's kind of like a stoner, pardon my language. But they say that, and this was a direct quote from an interviewee, and he said, "You never trust a stoner. They sometimes can pull shit out of nowhere. So that's why I gotta go with Scooby, because stoners do some crazy shit." That was a direct quote for their safety and their anonymity. I am not going to say their name, so just so we know. So there's also that regard, but. And lastly, a lot of them were like, well, he does solve mysteries for a living, so, that kind of also gives him another edge. And then my counterpoint has always been is, so if you're familiar with the lore of Scooby-Doo and you're familiar with the lore of Air Bud, we all know that Air Bud has broken many of records, is a very athletic pooch, is good at basketball, baseball, hockey, football, like you name it, he can do it. And Scooby-Doo is notoriously a scaredy cat, no pun intended. And he does like to run. I mean, yes, you can run so far, but that's not gonna get you the win in this case. So yeah, do you have any counterpoints to the things?
Just kind of continuing our discussion here. Air Bud has played basketball, football, soccer, baseball, and volleyball. And that's what, again, pointing out those sports there, like that is count them again. That is five sports that this guy knows how to play. And again, I think there's just that prowess, thinking about the running. Like, you want to talk about speed. Speed is being a dog wide receiver for a football team. Think about how quickly he's getting down that field. And I know what you're thinking. He's not. What you're probably thinking, he's playing against easy competition, playing against middle schoolers, playing against high schoolers. I would like to argue that I think he's playing against the best competition possible. For again, Air Bud being a dog, we've got to remember those parameters and those boundaries there. I don't know. I also want to point out that Air Bud's prowess in these sports is strong enough to pass them off to his offspring. Of course, we have the Air Buddies. Let's not forget about them. And obviously, they're not fighting. It's not like he has a bunch of little minions he can summon during the fight that are just his children. But like the prowess is obviously strong enough genetic-wise that he's passing it on to kids. The only thing I want to give Scooby is because Air Bud is a real-life golden retriever. Scooby-Doo is an animation. So could be some wonky animation stuff that Scooby could pull off. You know what I mean? The running in place, for example, as you mentioned, it wouldn't surprise me if Scooby could pull out a mallet, or like, you know what I mean? Like what's saying that he couldn't go a little Bugs Bunny with it? We're still talking like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like the Flintstones and so forth. Like that could all get a little wonky. Like,
agreed, it can get a little wonky.
Like, well, we've all seen. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if we're gonna go on that prowess, I don't think Scooby-Doo would use a mallet, because that's somebody who has extensively watched all of the Scooby-Doo movies and cartoons and everything like that. Right. I have scoured to see what kind of weapons he would use, as it's only fair that Air Bud is going to have all of the sports weapons. It's kind of fair to have a similar
of course. Maybe a sub sandwich, Scooby snacks.
So there has been a sub sandwich. I think Scooby snacks are definitely the food that he would bring in, because this is also something that I wanted to bring up. But we'll pin that point into that because I want to hit on the weapon standpoint.
Okay.
I feel like from terms of like a weapon, I feel like the best that Scooby would probably bring out would be like a net of some sort.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
because usually it's him and Shaggy
Right,
trying to
right.
catch the monster, but it usually always kind of fails. But it always works in their favor. So I mean, I think there is something to say about Scooby's inherent luck into this, and sometimes skill cannot beat luck.
It's true.
But
it's true.
also, I feel like skill and luck kind of go hand in hand. So I don't think being lucky is going to be the only thing that can save you.
Right. Of course. Honestly, I'm hearing a lot of positive things here. I really, the more we talk, the more of an underdog I think Scooby is.
Interesting.
I don't know. Like, I really do. Because again, we're coming down to maybe having to use a weapon to get that advantage, maybe relying on his luck, and he's now relying on these things versus his initial prowess of himself. You know what I'm saying? Because Air Bud, we have not had to worry about weapons or his luck or anything. Because again, he is just a physical unit. And again, I'm struggling to see a way where in this arena that they are in tonight, here at a Dodgers stadium, I'm struggling to see what Scooby could do that would be interesting enough to kind of pull out a win here. And I'm really curious to know if you've got some ace up your sleeve here, Professor, to just kind of.
So this is something that I have genuinely.
Or is there
thought,
anybody that has sided with Scooby so far in your kind of case study?
And needless to say, I actually in my case study, more people tend to vote for Scooby-Doo than they go for Air Bud in terms of the initial question. I would say if we were to put it in terms of a percentage, I would honestly say it is a 70-30.
Right.
It is very heavily voted that Scooby would win over Air Bud. I think a lot of that has to do because of the recognition of Scooby-Doo. Not necessarily, I know Air Bud is recognizable, but it's definitely not to the degree of Scooby-Doo.
Right, of course.
Has had how many live action remakes of him now, has had how many seasons. He is definitely a celebrity of the ages, as he should be.
Then again, on that, to stop that point there, let's not forget Air Bud, timeless classic. No remakes, no. So to this day, nothing's remade Air Bud. The original Air Bud movie.
But lots of spin-offs, though.
That's true. So are you saying this like the Buddies movies are technically our spin-offs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I could see that. I kind of consider them their own series to a point. Like, yes, it is a spin-off initially, but after you get to like past Air Buddies, then the rest I feel like become sequels to the original. But I could see where you're coming from there. I can
agree with that. Yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah.
But timeless classic versus continued prowess. So from that standpoint, Air Bud's definitely an underdog there, I think.
I was gonna say, because I think this is gonna be kind of the ace up the sleeve for you to put example. So because of the situation that we are putting these dogs in, yes, they have been in their, seemingly they've been in all of their cartoons, they've been in all of their live actions, and like this is one continual character, correct? So because of that, there's multiple things in which Scooby, I feel like, would have the edge in that he would be able to beat. And this is just from pure logic standpoint.
Sure.
Would be able to at least go toe to toe with Air Bud because Scooby has had to deal with not only fake monsters, he's had to deal with real monsters, and all of his fake monsters becoming real. So he had to deal slime. He knows how to skateboard. He knows how to surf because he did that. He knows how to use a fire extinguisher, which I'm not saying is going to be in the playing field, but also
it's prison match rules, and we start dropping like ladders and steel chairs. Down.
Yeah, it just becomes a belt match in which they have to climb to get the belt, But what I'm saying is, like, Scooby has become very resourceful, and Scooby, he's seen some shit, man. He also did have a special in which he was with John Cena and Hulk Hogan. So, like, he's also got that wrestling experience. Him being in the arena doesn't scare him anymore. It might slightly scare him because, Scooby, but, and this is the pen that I wanted to point, right? And so it's been scientifically proven, and there are Scooby snacks that you can buy in the real world, and there's Scooby snacks in the cartoon world. But I think we all can kind of agree that the Scooby snacks are kind of like a graham cracker, cinnamon cracker. They obviously must not be that bad, because I mean Shaggy does eat them.
Right.
I feel like if it was like an actual dog treat, Shaggy wouldn't be able
I don't know, man. Shaggy's a little out there. Like, let's not forget, like, Shaggy is
Okay, yeah, I guess we can't go a little out there.
treat.
Okay, so, but anyways, saying it's a dog treat.
Right,
I'm not saying it's like any kind of steroid or whatnot, but it's got that mentality that I feel like if Scooby were to pop it, kind of thing, like that is going to be like, that is peak Scooby, right? So like that is his ace. So like if he sees that it's not going well, he pops that Scooby snack, or he's got that Scooby snack, like the tides can turn in a second. Because I mean, if you look at all of the history of when he gets a Scooby snack, that's when he knows shit hits the fan.
Right.
That's when he knows he's got to do it.
My issue is there going to become a rules situation if he does pop that Scooby snack mid-fight? Let's say they call for a timeout around end, and he pops that Scooby snack. I feel like that's, at least from Team Airbud, I feel like that's like initial rules for not intentional grounding. That's a different sport. For review, just for review,
See,
and I'd argue disqualification.
See, I see that, but it's if we're going from in terms how could it be disqualification, because it could be similar in just like it's like a snack / water break, right? So this is whenever they're just going to get like water / snacks, we have done the math. If you look at the Scooby snack, there's no any like synthetic hormones or like steroids that could feasibly give Scooby, like from a physical standpoint, the edge. I think it is more of a placebo effect. So like I don't see the difference as to if you gave a Scooby snack to Airbud as well. So this is a completely even playing field, have the same thing. They both get their water and they both get their Scooby snack, say, after round 1, right?
I love the idea of a boxing match or just a fight match snack break.
I mean, I think
there's like Capri Sun and an orange slice waiting for him.
Well, and I mean, I think there is to that to some extent. I mean, like if you look at any boxing match, there's multiple rounds as long as nobody gets knocked out. So this is what I'm saying: if Airbud cannot knock out Scooby within the first round, I don't.
Interesting.
I think that's it.
Like,
because I think this is a multi-round fight. I don't think like I think there's many different scenarios that you can play, right? I think if going, like I said, laying the ground rules, doing the boxing match, I do like in a boxing ring, not necessarily a boxing match, just kind of who can knock out who. I think in that standpoint, if you're going 5 rounds, like that's standard, like I think that can change the tides, because I think there's ones that Airbud could take it 1. I think there's ones that Scooby could take it. I think there's ones like, so yeah.
I really randomly want to go ahead and phone in another friend of the show announcer and just see what they think, but I'm not going to do that to them. But I really had that funny idea, thought while we were over here recording this fight here tonight, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I definitely don't think we will reach a conclusion as somebody who's been actually studying this for about a year now. I still am not anywhere closer, but it's definitely interesting to see your thoughts on the matter. And I mean,
Professor, where did Ozzy get off to when he stepped away? Is he just standing off to the side? Did he like go to like?
Yeah, he's just stepping off to the side.
Oh, okay. He's just standing like right there next to you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay.
He's heard this all before. It's actually he's actually really like right here where I'm sitting. It's one of those things that like he can kind of just come in and out.
Gotcha. I feel really I feel really awkward on my side.
Ego.
Oh, okay. I feel very awkward on my side that I don't have a professional here to kind of debate on my side.
Well, it's okay. There's no professional here. This is actually just all out of Ozzy's mind. It's just all it's all a persona.
So are you being projected out of his mind?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yes. All right. So this is still Ozzy's. I mean, there's no edge. I mean, and like I said, we're saving Ozzy's what his thoughts are on who would win at the end.
Professor, if you'll excuse me, I'm getting a call right now. So just give me one second here. Yes. Hello.
Interesting.
Okay. All right. Yes. Send him right in. Yes. Hang on. let me go ahead and inform the show here. All right, so I just got a call that Professor Skippy Bippins is coming in to go ahead and give a more analytical view here on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and go let him in here onto the show. Professor, if you're good, just, doing your thing for a minute or two. All right.
Yes, I'll stay here, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll be right back.
Yes, of course. Alrighty. I don't know if it's got the... Oh, okay, good. Here, that's the flavor. We are very analytical in what we talk about, and we take these fights very seriously. Because you never know one day when these could actually be something that could happen. So, yes. I mean, this is just a minor question, kind of straying as we wait for Professor Skippy Bippins. And that, who do we think is hotter? Do we think that pirates are hotter, or do we think that cowboys are hotter? This is a constant question that the professor and Ozzy have also been perplexed on. So we'll put a pin into this and return to another day.
Why, hello there, lovely audience, on this beautiful fight night tonight. It is I, Dr. Skippy Bippins of Airbudology, here to come on and kind of give a professional opinion on the situation.
Interesting. All right. It's interesting to see you, Skippy Bibbins, being very specific on the Airbud, per se. I myself, I think I am more on the overall, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Yes.
Look, I feel like it's good to be focused in on one subject here to really go ahead and dig deeper into. If you start focusing on the broad things, then some information might fall through the cracks. But everybody do your own thing. That's all I can say.
And that seems like you're throwing a little bit of shade.
Oh, I have Skippy Bibbins. No. Listen. Please, don't let my friends call me Skippy. You can call me Skippered, please.
Oh, Skippered. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. The name's Professor. Professor.
My name is Dr. Professor.
Yes.
So, the Golden Retriever is a Scottish breed of retriever dog of medium size. It is characterized by a gentle and affectionate nature and a striking golden coat. It is commonly kept as a pet and is among the most frequent registered breeds in several Western countries.
Yes,
Not only is it friendly, it is intelligent, kind, reliable, trusty, and confident. And I think all of those qualities make a wonderful fighter. I think that looking at Scooby-Doo at the Great Dane, for example. Actually, no, we're just gonna say Scooby-Doo because he sees Scooby-Doo. That's. I believe that he is too sporadic, not confident enough for sure. I don't know about trustworthy either. Kind. I just think on a dog comparison, Airbud is the supreme genetic candidate.
So I'd like to stop you here, Skippered Bippins.
Dr. Skippered Bippins, or Professor, I forgot which one I said.
That's why I just referred to you as your Skippered Bippins.
Could you at least put a Mr. Mr. Skippered?
Mr. Skippered Bippins,
thank
sorry.
you.
So it's interesting that you come in here and you talk specifically about the genetics of the dog. And yes, there's no denying, I think that the Golden Retriever as a breed is very much more appreciated and more well-versed and more common in the household. But I think you're very much struggling to see that a lot of those qualities would not be deemed good for a fight. I mean, I do think the confident is a very good way, but the kind and the nice doesn't seem to lend itself good to a fight. as somebody who has many colleagues, specifically Ozzy, who is a very kind soul, we do not think that they would be the best of fighters, per se, because, they are too kind. And I think that could be an issue with Mr. Bud. I'm not denying his athletic ability and his confidence, which I think will definitely is very superior to the Mr. Doos. But...
Mr. Doos.
Yes, Mr. Doos and Mr. Bud.
Mr. Doos and Mr. Bud.
Yes.
Mr. Doos and Mr. Bud will be back after this short break on CBS. Next up, Giggle Hut McGee and the Adventure for 10 Crystals, starting at 8:30 Central.
Oh boy, I already found 5 crystals. I can't wait to find the other 5. That's math.
Yeah! That was a very interesting commercial break. I'm very excited to check out that, what was it, Timmy and the 10 Crystals or something? I've no idea.
I'm not going to lie, I very much forgot.
Me too. Me too. I just want to point out that, that golden retrievers, you're right. Maybe the kind and the friendly, so forth, but reliable. Let's not forget Air Bud's stats going into tonight's fight here. We are talking. Oh God, I skipped away from the Wikipedia page, but we are talking.
Professor, I don't as a doctor myself, Doctor Professor,
Yes.
I like to know that you use your Wikipedia as your main source of
I'm sorry. Are you
information.
questioning my prowess as a Doctor Professor Skippy Bippins of Airbudology? An airbudologist. How dare you question me? How dare you stand where he stood?
I'm sorry, Skipper Buppins, but I'm a little concerned.
Are you saying that I shouldn't be here?
I'm not saying that you shouldn't be here.
Is that what you are implying tonight?
I'm just finding it very interesting that your Wikipedia page is your main source of
I can't believe
information.
this. I come onto this show last minute, and you set me up with this snob. This snob who doesn't know anything about Air Bud or Scooby-Doo and taking a middle neutral stance.
It is a middle neutral
Double
stance.
for this. I can't believe this.
Hate to see it. I hate to see it. But on that note,
Whoa, what's going on there? Hello, everybody. I am back for fight night here. It's your one of your main commentators, Christian here. Professor, glad to see you're still here. I just saw saw Dr. Mr. Professor Skippered Bippins. I'm sorry. Storm off.
Skippered, yes. Yes, he's I think he got a little offended.
Oh, interesting.
I do think I definitely take a very middle standpoint.
Yeah, no,
if
of
we want
course.
to talk
Of
more
course you do.
about Air Bud specifically.
Interesting.
I do think that his use and the tools are really going to help him. I think people that do not realize is, yes, Scooby-Doo may be fast, but I do believe that Air Bud is faster. I mean, he has outran plenty of super athletic. He can actually run the length of a football field in under 30 seconds. That has been scientifically proven.
Interesting.
Also, he does have the upper advantage in terms of weight.
Interesting.
So it's funny because we did say that the Great Dane is bigger, but Air Bud is more muscular.
Of course, yes.
And that is where, as people do not realize, is that Scooby-Doo is amazing how much he can eat, but that is not good for him. So there is also that. So in terms of sheer healthiness, I definitely think Air Bud has definitely got that front.
To say a couple things in Scooby-Doo's defense here, might as well. We're commentating. Maybe I shouldn't be so biased. I mean, I do have some Air Bud merchandise at home. I mean, I think we all do.
Yes,
but
yes.
You know, Scooby, let's not forget, you're right. You bring a couple of great things. His reach, I think, first off, to go ahead and recap here. The reach of that Great Dane to both swing, even use his head and his neck, his paws, even. Those are some long paws, right? Let's not forget that. He could very easily
It
start
is
this
true.
fight. Airbud could run in, try to do something Airbuddy, right? And just whap. Before Airbud can even get close to connect, he's gonna get whapped. Um, and I feel like that's very important to recognize. Again, the sporadicness of Scooby could either be his downfall or his success tonight. Honestly, I really
I
think
do
that.
agree, and I think that is why he is very much an underdog, and he is also
Yeah.
very much a wild
Right,
card, to
right.
say the least. I mean, that's why I think in so many different cases we are not sure as to how the cookie will crumble, per se, because I do think it could go both ways. I do also think, if we're going in terms of physicality, the Great Dane does have a stronger bite in terms of sheer power and force. So I do think that is also another feature that Scooby-Doo could have access to.
Right, right. Just trying to pull up some statistics here, just to really lay it all out for people.
Yes, yes, I
And
think
looking
those are
over
important.
at Airbud here, of course, right? Starting off with
Yes, yes,
our
yes.
main competitor, the cream of the crop guy, the people's favorite, if you will. Airbud has had, as we listed, a good handful of movies. We have Airbud, Airbud Golden Receiver, Airbud World Pup, Airbud Seventh Inning Fetch, and Airbud Spikes Back. And then we go into all the Air Buddies movies, those aren't really his movies, so we're going to go ahead and, he's featured in them, but they aren't his. And we go over to Scooby-Doo's side of things, right? And again, this is where things get interesting. When we're talking the amount of movies that Scooby-Doo has, 38 movies alone. And that's on top, that's just the direct-to-video animated films. You want to talk about the animated television films? There's 5 of those. You want to talk about the animated theatrical films? There's 1 of those. The live-action theatrical films, there's 2 of those. Live-action TV films, there's 2 of those. Direct to live action films, not great, but there's 1 of those, so we're just he's got a lot of direct to videos stuff. We're gonna stick with that there. But that doesn't even hit up the list of TV, the list of shorts, the list of specials, the list of video games, and let's not forget the soundtrack, the Ultimate Collection Scooby-Doo Edition. All right, let's not forget. And as I think we wind down here to the end of the fight night, I think it's time, Professor. Been lovely having you on, but I do think
Yes,
we
I
need
do
to hear.
believe I need to go. I think I do believe that I need to run. I think there is some more research and some more watching that I need to do. And thank you for having me. I do hope that I can rejoin you.
I do think in this match there is going to be definitely a rematch here. Professor, we'll be sure to have you on again. Thank you so much for your insight and your prowess.
Yes,
Go ahead
thank you.
and follow
Thank you.
Dr. Professor, on his Instagram, where he does weekly live streams about this topic. And Professor, we'll be sure to
Yes,
see you
yes.
again here when these guys rematch later down the road.
Yes, lots of AI generated fights. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, that was Professor or Dr. Professor. Again, great resource here for us over here at Hypothetical Fight Night. That's the flavor theme. But yeah, so Dr. Professor, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you. And Ozzy, welcome back on. It's been a couple of minutes. What was it
Thank
like
you. Yeah,
standing off to the
dude,
side there? Kind of hearing this.
So yeah, I was standing off to the side for a solid 10 minutes. But those other 5, I just peed.
Oh, okay. 5-minute pee break.
It was
Interesting.
a really long
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
It was a steady stream.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, welcome back. We've kind of laid out a lot of groundwork. I'm not sure if you saw any of Dr. Skippard come in. Very, very interesting fellow for sure.
Yeah, very interesting. Very passionate, but I don't know in the right regard.
Right.
But to all its own.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So, Ozzy, let me ask you. We're winding down here at the end of this fight night setup. We're going to want to hear a lot from the audience and the taste buds at home before we ever really come back to this, kind of see where they land. Where are you landing here? I know I started off very heavy Team Airbud. I do see a side for Scooby, though. I do. Don't get me wrong. I'm still heavy Team Airbud, but where do you officially land on this? Go ahead and give your stance here now for the taste buds at home.
Yeah, so I find it very interesting. I guess just from I guess a history standpoint,
Mhm.
which this has nothing really to do
Back
with
in
it, but
1984.
yeah. And what I mean by this is that whenever I first came up with this question, um, and I asked my like coworkers just like right then and there, I was like, "Is this a good question?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that's actually a really good question." They all like every single one initially said Scooby Doo,
Sure.
and I started Devil's Advocate naturally, but then I realized that I'm Team Airbud.
Okay.
I've been Team Airbud since I started because I think the practical nature of Airbud, it just makes more sense. I think the sheer athleticism,
Mhm.
I think if you look at it from a standpoint in that, like I just think he's got Scooby Doo beat.
Mhm.
I mean, like the professor has said, that's also from partially from my own experience and
Right.
the professor's experience because I've been kind of an intern for him. I've kind of seen a lot of the different nuances to it.
Sure.
I've seen a
Sure.
lot of the different sides, but I do still strongly believe that Airbud would be
Mhm.
victorious.
Mhm.
Um, I know. I feel like if you look at like the sheer science of it, yeah, I think it could get a little dicey. But if we're going off of just pure like instinctive
Right.
thoughts of like Scooby Doo as a character and Airbud as a character, I think Airbud's got in the
Mhm.
bag, genuinely.
Yeah.
And to go back on my point, I
Yeah.
think that's why I find this so interesting historically, is because Christian and I tend to be on the opposite
Mhm.
ends of it. So that's why I found it really interesting, and that's why I wanted to save my point to the
Right.
end, because I feel like it's opposite. I
Right.
mean, the Gators versus Chick-fil-A.
We're on opposite
I
sides
was
there. Yeah.
very strong Gators. Um, and the Duckling, Shaquille O'Neal, Christian's kind of gone back and
Yep.
forth. I have stuck with my baby
Yep.
Ducklings. I think he's on the Shaq side now.
Currently, yes.
Um,
Where that discussion
so
stands, I am on the Shack side, and honestly, I think one of these days we're gonna go and do an updated revisit on that because it's
yeah,
been a couple of years even.
agreed.
But
It has, it has.
yes,
But I'm a firm believer in my baby ducks. I've
hey,
been since the beginning. So,
and you know what?
um,
That's gonna bring this special edition. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Like I did cut
oh,
you
you're
off.
good.
Oh,
I was gonna say that's really it.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
episode 40, taste buds. Episode
yeah,
40. Woo
yeah.
woo.
Well, well, thank you guys for tuning into this special episode of Fight Night. I've been one of your commentators, Christian, along with co-commentator, one of my commentators, Ozzy, here to go ahead and give you guys the rundown. To all of the taste buds listening at home, watching on YouTube, listening in the car, wherever you might be, if you are Team Airbud, go ahead and leave us those comments. Show us that support. You know, join Team Airbud right now. If you're Team Scooby-Doo, don't worry. I want to hear from you guys too. Go ahead and tell us,
Same.
what do you think Scooby could do to win this fight? I'm very curious. So go ahead, let us know, what do you think would happen in this fight? Who would win in a fight, Scooby-Doo or Airbud? Let us know down in the comments below. Let us know on social media. We want to hear from each and every one of you. And on that note, we're going to bring this
Yes,
episode of That's
please.
the Flavor to a close. Episode number 40, a monumental, advantageous, monumental number, 10 away from the big 5-0. Let's not forget that. 15 episodes in, we have been running and chugging along, having a grand old time, and we would not be doing it without any single one of you. We wouldn't be doing it. You taste buds out there are awesome.
No.
And again, thank you guys for supporting the show. Everything Ozzy and I do. This recording, I think, has been one of my favorites overall in the history of doing That's the Flavor. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We got a little bit of improv-y character going on this week, and I really liked that.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
Loved it.
that was definitely really fun to mess around with. But yeah, thank you guys for the support. We got a lot of fun things in the works, and yeah, I've been Christian,
And I have been Ozzy.
and Taste Buds. We will talk to you guys all next Monday for episode number 41. But until then, take care and goodbye.
Nom
Nom
nom.
nom nom.